as my teammate. Dolan and I have stayed together a few times at tournaments, and I've interacted a lot with him. And I feel like we have really good synergy together and get along really well. So that's why I chose Dolan. Super excited to have him as my teammate going into this. And my views on the 2v2 tournament are, I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's really cool that we get to have a high-level 2v2. And I think a lot of people will agree that it's probably pretty refreshing as a format. So it should be pretty good.
这次的2v2的话，我觉得我们对要获胜看起来几率应该没有到，看起来是比较困难一点，因为毕竟鸡哥最近确诊了嘛。然后呢，我的2v2也并不是非常厉害，加上我们队是2个神主，所以呢，我觉得我们应该是这次这16支队伍里面看起来比较菜的队伍。所以呢，我觉得我们的希望就是我们能赢一个人就算一个人，那最好就是上面那些人的最好不要输给我们，因为我们还是会有一些比较厉害的打法，但是希望我们能继续往下走吧。但是因为毕竟实力上的考量，所以我们不会有太多的希望这样，但我们会尽力的赢下每一场比赛的。
I always enjoy 2v2 tournaments, so I am happy about that. I pick Rainer as my teammate because I think Zerk and Terran is very decent for that.
Hello everyone, this is Special. I'm playing for Psystorm, and this is my video and Psystorm's Max Pack's introduction to the 2v2 tournament by WTN. We are very excited to play in the 2v2 tournament. I, as a player, have a lot of experience in 2v2 actually, and Max Packs also plays on 2v2 tournaments in the past, so we're really excited about it. The reason we decided to team up is I think we can do well. And yeah, guys, see you guys there, and we will try our best. Thank you WTL for hosting this tournament, Psystorm for supporting us.
네, 이번에 그 WTL에서 진행되는 2대2 토너먼트에 참가하게 되는데, 근데 팀 파트너는 람보 선수랑 같이 하기로 했어요. 근데 솔직히 제 생각은 저는 2대2 팀플레이에 중요한 게 소통이라고 생각하는데, 아무래도 제가 영어가 좀 잘 안 되다 보니까 서로 소통이 좀 부족해서 그렇게 좋은 성적을 낼 것 같지는 않아요. 근데 제가 또 워낙 한국에서 팀플에서는 제가 거의 최강이라고 생각하거든요. 저는 2대2 대회가 있으면 항상 출전하고 항상 우승해왔기 때문에 저는 어느 정도 자신 있는데, 람보가 저한테만 좀 잘 따랐으면 어느 정도 좋은 성적을 낼 수 있을 것 같아요. 아무리 그 소통이 되지 않아도 뭐 프로게이머들은 그냥 어느 정도 플레이만 해보면 딱 그 상대가 뭘 원하는지 알게 되거든요. 어느 정도 수준이 있는 선수끼리 하다 보면은 말을 하지 않아도 다 알기 때문에 어느 정도 좋은 성적을 낼 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 조금 저는 팀플레이를 좋아해가지고 이번 2대2 팀플레이도 좀 기대하고 있어요. 꼭 좋은 성적 냈으면 좋겠습니다.
Hello, this is Kilos, and I'm gonna play WTL 2v2 tournament with Ratata, previously known as Vanya. I picked him as my teammate because I have a lot of experience playing with him. We already got top 2 in Nation Wars that had 2v2 format in it, and I'm really looking forward to this event, and I think we have a very good chances to win it all.
Hello guys, I'm Rosen, Polish Protoss playing for Team Platinum Heroes, and in WTL 2v2 tournament I will be playing with Goblin. He's my teammate. I'm very hyped to play in 2v2 tournament because we don't have too much opportunities to play in something different, and it's always nice to try new things in StarCraft. I hope that together we can make some miracle run and make some fun games for the viewers.
I think it's pretty fun to play some 2v2s instead of the usual one-on-ones. We can use a lot of different strategies there. In general, I think it's fun that races have more synergy with others, and some races don't have that much synergy. So just mixes out the playing field a little bit. We didn't have too much time to prepare just because this is right after Christmas and New Year's Eve, but I hope we can do some entertaining games for the people watching. And yeah, Time asked me to play, and I agreed. I think he's a great player, and I think Terran in general is pretty good in 2v2s. I think Terran and Jerk actually is a pretty good combination, so I think we can come up with some stuff, but we'll see.
Hi, my name is Trigger, and I'll be playing in World Team League's 2v2 tournament. I play as Protoss, and my teammate is Nina, who also plays as Protoss. And I think it's going to be really interesting for us because we're both Protoss, so that can give us a lot of issues, especially versus Zerg, just because it's very hard to wall off on some of these maps. I don't think the 2v2 maps are built for double Protoss, so it's going to be a bit tricky, but I think we can make it work. And I hope we can surprise some people with our teamwork. On the topic of just 2v2, I think it's very difficult, but I think the real reason that most people don't play it is just it's just not balanced. The game is not balanced around 2v2, it's balanced around 1v1. So it's it can get a bit weird sometimes. It's just like the race matchups and stuff, at least from what I've heard. But yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I think this tournament's gonna be a lot of fun. And it's gonna be really cool to see how pro 1v1 players do in 2v2. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching me and Nina play. Yeah.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to World Team League Winter 2v2 Tour Day number 1. A very special event here after the round robin stage of the Codes event. We're going to be chilling here with some 2v2s, and I'm not alone. I have my own 2v2 partner with me, the lovely Terran apologist, AsherBro.
I am playing 2v2 with you. That's not happening.
What do you
no
mean?
Way. I'm not
what
getting
do you
yelled
mean,
at.
Puppy?
I'm not getting yelled at.
We played 2v2 before, Puppy. It's okay. It's okay.
I forgot about it. I moved on. I'm seeing someone else now.
No, I don't care. I'm forcing myself in. And speaking of forcing yourself in, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Heavy Artillery, we have the Finnish Zerg player, Serral, alongside his teammate, alongside the Chinese Terran. I don't know how to line up these intros. It's not up. What?
Ah, okay. In the bottom right-hand corner, it's Firefly. Hello. What are you doing there?
And Silky. Why did the observer ignore time? We ignored Oliveira.
Upset about the name change. Oh, there he is. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. There you go.
We got there eventually.
Oh my god. So Asher, of course, we're very well versed in 2v2. Like, we know all about it. We play it all the time. Just can't get enough of each other.
If you say so.
But 2v2s in StarCraft is a different story.
Oh, okay. Well, my bet's on Serral and
Serral if he had played Terran, who we have in the top right corner.
Uh-huh.
You can tell from their earnings which one picked Zerg, but they're actually the same skill level.
You're an animal, Poppy. You're an animal. Oh my god. But yeah, obviously getting into this matchup, honestly, I thought we were gonna get some hexagons. I thought we were gonna get a little bit more going into it. But shout out to all the players with their player intros as well, with the interviews or the little video messages that they had for all the fans. It was a great way for us to get a little bit of insight when it came to some people that we don't really get to hear from too often. And one of those was Serral. He had a little bit to say. What was interesting is that apparently Time actually approached him to kind of join forces here. So yeah, it sounded as if like he was kind of the one calling the shots a little bit. And I have to wonder how much they actually play together and if they're like, you know, if they interact outside of just like tournaments.
Kind of funny because I think Raynor's on Time's team. So he's like, Raynor, not really that good. I need a better Zerg than that.
Oh my, you're not wrong. I didn't think about it, but you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. But now we're getting into the game itself. So far, we have some pretty standard openers. We do see Firefly going for a Stargate opener. His first adept is across the map, opting to go for a full wall at the natural. Oh my god.
And kind of interesting seeing, I can't say I've really seen this kind of teamwork in 2v2s before. The first adept being defended by Zerglings, and then the wall off with the Terran units with a queen.
Yeah, very interesting here. I mean, for the most part, you know, the Zerg and Terran, we need a Serral, Oliveira, Serral in Time. Yeah, they were able to, you know, deflect the aggression for the most part, force a little bit of energy across the map as well. But I'm just really shocked that we walled off here on 2 bases, because usually that's not a good thing for Zerg. Usually, even here in 2v2, Zerg wants to be getting a 3rd base, wants to be getting a 3rd hatchery up, but we have 2 base versus 2 base instead.
Yeah, so we are going to be starting off with that, and looks like, Serral going to be pretty content to start on 2 base. That's kind of the weird one for me. He's gone straight for Infestation Pit and a Nidus, but it's like these Oracles might be able to get the scout here.
Oh, yeah, the Oracles get in. And what's important is that both Zerg players have pretty similar kind of plans here. Both of them are going for very fast Infestation Pits. I have to wonder if this is for a Swarm Host play. Meanwhile, great target firing. One of these Oracles is going to be going down. The Protoss looks to be going into Phoenixes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mass Phoenix. That's quite common here in 2v2s, and there are our first Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, I mean, the Mass Phoenix pose an interesting problem where they're going to help a lot with clearing out any vision that Serral needs to help get these Niduses up. I mean, at the same time, I do guess that Oliveira is going to be able to send out this double drop to help get some vision.
Yeah, here we go. The double drop is moving out across the map. It's going to be a little bit risky because of those Phoenixes, but for the time being, it looks like we have vision all over the place. There we go. Nidus is on the way for Serral. He's already got, I want to say, around 8 Swarm Hosts, so we're going to be hitting on 2 fronts at the same time.
That is a very fast 2-on-1 coming out from Oliveira, so that's going to sync up with this Nidus Swarm Host at the same time. Nidus Swarm Host extremely strong as well in 2v2. Can be pretty hard to deal with, just creates a lot of chaos, and that gives you the space that you need to expand. We can already see Oliveira taking a 3rd on location.
Oh my god, I just love that they're just flexing their kind of control and their microaggression right now here, as we do see Time going for the hatchery. It looks like the 3rd base is going to be going down here for Silky. We'll even target fire some of these Phoenixes. Oh my god.
Yeah, 3rd base coming down. The Phoenix is in a lot of trouble as well. Looks like Firefly just in a bit of a rough spot in general. Quite low on supply compared to the rest of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of that also has to do with his production as well. I could be crazy, but I don't think he actually got a 2nd Stargate. There's actually not much at all happening in the production tab here for Firefly.
Yeah, it does look like he might be a little bit stuck here just while he's waiting for, Oh, yeah, he must be feeding because there is a lot of minerals, but looks like maybe a bit of miscommunication because he's not able to spend the minerals right now.
Yeah, Silky, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, he has over 1,000 minerals right now, and we can see that he's rushing into Hive, he's rushing into Ultras. I thought he was going to go Swarm Host, and this is all good and great and all, but it's basically turning into a 1v2.
Yeah, very interesting. At the same time, these Lings constantly trading out with Locusts. Not ideal here. He's going to be protecting the economy, but pretty rough trades, and Serral already up to a pretty decent supply as well. Firefly really struggling to hold on to any supply to speak of.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to become the bank, trying to become the economy here for his opponent, but we can see these drops are pulling him apart. At the same time, another Locust wave is coming into the main base. All the Lings are being cleaned up.
Oh my goodness, these Locusts taking incredible trades against the Lings, and it looks like Silky is just not really able to get up that kind of critical mass that he needs.
Yeah, exactly. He's on his way. He has Ultras on the way. He has Vipers on the way as well. Bear in mind, it's not like Firefly isn't doing anything. You can share unit control, so he should be using the units here of his teammate as well. So he is going to be microing and all that stuff, but how good is it? Oh.
Yes, we do have that first mine being dropped off there by Time, and it looks like Time might have been doing a little bit of feeding for Serral as well. I'm not sure if that's the case, but Serral's still sitting on 44 drones, so just completely focusing on just churning out as many of these swarm hosts as you can and not being too greedy with taking bases.
I mean, bearing in mind that he hasn't lost a single Swarm Host, he's been doing a great job at keeping his Swarm Host alive and just utilizing these Locust Wave whenever he can, as often as possible. So he's been incredibly efficient here with his army. At the same time, once again, Time is coming in with another drop, looking to focus down another one of these hatcheries. And even though Silky has a lot of money, the hatcheries matter that much more. He needs the larva to actually spend it.
Yeah, at the same time, Silky does get his Nidus up, so he will be Nidusing Ultras into the base of Serral. How are they going to be able to deal with this?
Oh my god, we'll see. I mean, a couple of Ultras are on the front lines here. Is anything actually even coming out of that Nidus? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it looks like it's all happening in the front here. We do have a Parabomb going down on these medevacs, and it's just going to be Ling, Bane, Marine trying to deal with Ultras. They're not going to trade particularly well, but looks like they are starting to get that job done.
Oh, exactly. At the same time, it looks like another base for Silky has gone down. He's down to one base economy right now, with Firefly doing the best that he can to feed his teammate as much as possible. There is one Ultra in the main base, and even though Marines aren't the most ideal unit against this, like with enough of them, they can do anything.
Yeah, they should be able to take it down eventually, but that Ultra is going to do a lot of damage. It looks like the Ultras down to the south as well are going to be doing quite a number on these SCVs. Plenty of those being cleaned up. Lots of chaos going on all across the map, but Firefly supply is plummeting. So is Silky's.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things where you can see the overall plan here for Team SSLT. You know, Silky, these Ultras have done quite a lot for them. Unfortunately, they weren't able to successfully defend back at home, despite how insane this aggression has been. They're really struggling to hold on. The Ultra Cavern just went down, so we can see that Silky is trying desperately to rebuild it.
Yeah, and these Marines are starting to take out these building Nidus worms. Looks like Oliveira completely on top of that, and that will buy his team a lot of time here. The Swarm Host not quite making it into the mineral line, but as long as they just continuously trade with this huge supply difference, with the economic difference, they should be in a good spot here.
Yeah, exactly. They need to buy some more Oliveira, papi, but he's on the other team.
I'm a little bit worried. These Swarm Hosts are getting caught out, so 4 of those are going to be going down. The rest of it do make it back in time to that Nidus Worm, but the Nidus Worm pretty far away from where Serral wants to be harassing here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Serral does finally lose a good chunk of those Swarm Hosts, but he was able to keep... Oh my god! He's kept so many of them alive! Look at the Locust Wave!
Yeah, it's pretty insane the amount that he's been able to get out, and Oliveira as well been able to get out plenty. Looks like Serral even going for a very aggressive Nidus straight into the main base of Silky here, and the push of Oliveira has arrived. These Ultras are very low. The mine should be able to take them out.
Yeah, they should be able to take him out in the end. Here we go. The Ultras are so low. They're finally going to be going down here to the Marines. GG gets called, and Serral X Time. They take the first game.
Yeah, there we go. Pretty dominating game there with Oliveira.
Se le viera, papi. Let's go.
Uh-huh.
Let's go. I can see some people in the chat were noticing it as well. It was really cool to see that on comms, both Serral and Time were communicating quite a lot with each other, and they were having a bit of a cheeky giggle towards the end there. But yeah, it's really cool to see, because that's something that I was concerned about, right? I'm concerned that you have these two very powerful players in their own regions. They're very strong individually, but how much kind of team synergy do they really have?
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like they had their strategies pretty well worked out, and it's going to be exciting to see how well all the different teams have their strategies worked out. Firefly and Silky going for what looks like a pretty unusual counter to what Oliveira and Serral are going for, but I kind of wonder if they maybe should have gone for more of an air-based play just to help deal with those swarm hosts, because they didn't really have an answer for those swarm hosts ever. They were just trying to kill before it got too out of control.
Yeah, it felt like, you know, one team had a plan and the other team had a plan, and they're like, all right, this is what we're doing, regardless of what happens. Because if you remember, they both threw down their infestation pits at around the same time. And unfortunately, it did feel as if, you know, Serral and Time, their build was a lot more robust overall. It felt like Silky and Firefly, theirs was a little bit more gambling, a little bit more all-in. Yeah, it's like, I understand the power behind it, but I also understand the power behind Double Stargate Phoenix. And I feel like if the Protoss player had a little bit more to provide to the team, they may have had an easier time defending against those swarm hosts.
Yeah, it might be an overly simplistic view of 2v2, but I feel like whoever gets pressure going first is usually the team that wins. And a lot of the time, if you can get some economic damage, if you can get some pressure going early on, it's pretty hard for the other team to stabilize after that. It just tends to snowball almost twice as fast. It's just really difficult to do anything about it.
Definitely. I'm just really happy to see that clearly both players had plans coming into this 2v2, and I know that's another bit of a worry that I'm sure myself and a lot of other people have, is that it's a 2v2 tournament, and sometimes a lot of players take that for granted, and, you know, players, they just come in and they just do their 1v1 builds, you know, and they don't really put too much thought into the 2v2 aspect, and clearly that's not the case, at least in this matchup.
Yeah, I do think, especially after the tournaments that we've had earlier this year, people should be pretty familiar with 2v2. I mean, we had people talking in the interview, like I think it was Goblin, Skillis was talking a bit about it as well. They were all participants that did quite well earlier in the year, or earlier last year, I should say.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Golden Kingdom, a TLMC map, we have a team SSLT. Are you with me, Papi?
Yeah. I'm so confused by the corner to corner introductions. I don't really know how to introduce these guys. Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know why. Like, look, for those wondering, we're not observing it. It is the WTL observer right now, as I think there's a cannon rush going on.
I can't believe that's out of ranges. Yeah, looks like the second Pro B is going to show itself, so Serral should know about the cannon rush now, but this can be a very strong strategy for starting off the games in 2v2, especially since a cannon rush player can kind of focus on economy, on getting a little bit of feeding going as well, and yeah, it looks like Serral, he's going to start to defend this, but he is very late to see it. He's probably going to have to cancel here.
Yeah, a little bit indecisive upon seeing the late cannon rush. He pulls the boys, but as we all saw, that's a little bit too late. There we go. We have the cancel for Serral, and I kind of like this here. This is another bit of a strategy that you can do in 2v2, and that is you intentionally target a player and you try to make sure that they are constantly harassed throughout the game and they can't really support their teammate.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like behind this, we do have a very quick Ling speed as well coming out for the Zerg player. So, ooh, there we go as well. Serral's going to be going roaches. So I think that's a really good idea to go for a more defensive composition. It would make a lot of sense for something aggressive to be following up this cannon rush.
I 100% agree. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Firefly is brutal. He goes for a full-up cannon rush at the second hatchery. 4 cannons have been thrown down. At least one of them is going to finish at the same time. We do have Oliveira on the ball here across the map with 2 of his Reapers.
Yeah, Oliveira being very aggressive with the Reapers. Looks like he might have gone for a 2 racks opening here. Would make a lot of sense to go for maybe some 2 racks Reaper into 2-1-1. I didn't quite catch if that's what happened in the first game, but looks like he's going to be able to flex his multitask to get a little bit of damage across the map while also helping defend the cannon rush.
Yeah, speaking of, I believe 2 cannons were cancelled, but 2 more will finish up, and oh, that means they're going to have to invest to deal with these cannons here. There are 2 pylons as well to support this, and the hatchery did finish. Thankfully, Serral does have some roaches on the way. They should get here in time to save the hatchery. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, once he musters into Ravages, he should be able to take out those cannons. I think they are touching as well, so yeah, it just looks like he's going to... should be able to just save this, I believe.
Yeah, he should be able to save this. One of the cannons is already going to be going down. The hatchery is going to get down to the red, and this may be a target for a follow-up push or follow-up aggression. Here we go. We see 20 lings on the way for Silky. Oh my god, and that hatchery is very low.
Yeah, crazy. 20 lings and double Evo coming out behind this. So looks like he's looking to just completely flood lings, maybe for the rest of the game, even with a 1-1 follow-up.
Yeah, very similar to what he did last game. Of course, we can see that this time Firefly isn't necessarily just completely feeding his opponent, but actually I think he is. Once again, Firefly has nothing in production, and he's on 1 basic economy 100%. He is giving Silky every single one of his minerals.
Yeah, so this is going to be a giggling rush, and it's going to be very hard for these 2 players to defend this. Does look like Serral's Roach is actually doing a lot of work here. Very late to morph that Ravager as well, so he's getting the absolute most that he can out of his units. That was a great trade.
Yeah, that was a brutal engagement there for Team SSLT. They invested so many lings into this again. Like, there is no longevity to what they're doing. Firefly is on 1 base. Sure, he can rush at the start of the game, but that's literally all he could do. And what's the follow-up? We do have 1-1 on the way, but oh, Silky is droning.
Yeah, Firefly is sitting on 22 workers, and that's it. He has nothing else coming. He's just chilling on his 1 base with his little cannon there to defend him. And completely relying on Silky. This is my kind of TVT strat. I'm a fan of this.
And like, it makes sense though. Like, I understand it, and I'm sure this works a lot here on the ladder, but specifically against Serral and Oliveira, like, oh my god, the defense is just a little bit too damn good. The lings aren't going to be doing too much, and behind this, Serral is continuing roach production here. Silky trying to sneak out a Spire.
Yeah, that definitely makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time behind this, looks like Oliveira are going to be going into just a mass marine sort of comp, probably going to go into mines again after, so that's definitely going to help deal with the mutas, especially if Silky can't get that many out. Looks like he should have enough to make 10 to 11 sort of thing, but there is a push coming out from Serral right away.
Yeah, Silky should be forced to make as many banelings as possible if he wants to defend against the Marines and the Roaches. We see Lings going for a bit of a counterattack here, but it looks like there should be enough reinforcements back at home. The wall is indeed a wall. The repairs are here in time as well. Lings aren't going to be doing too much. At the same time, Serral is across the map.
Yeah, we've even got a ping just to let him know. Serral just using that spare APM to keep an eye on everything. But yeah, these Roaches going to be charging on in. The spines are not ready. We just have Lings and Banes, and with the Marine DPS behind the tanking Roaches, this is an incredibly powerful combo.
Here we go. This is a sight to behold. Zerg buffering here for the Terran. The Marines are safe behind the Roaches here. They stutter step forward as well. All the banelings go down.
Yeah, the Lings getting decimated as they try to deal with these Roaches. Looks like a pretty low Marine count, so if Silky can get out just a few more mutas, he might be able to fight this, but yeah, it just looks like there's not enough here.
Yeah, exactly. Even utilizing the SimCity of all these Roaches against Silky right now. We do see the mutas are going to focus on every single one of these Marines, and they will eventually kill all these Roaches. But look at the damage that has been done. So many drones have already gone down here. They have been evacuated. They did go all the way into the main base for either player here, but look how oversaturated he is.
Yeah, so we're going to be charging on in, trying to get as much eco damage as you can before these Roaches go down. Should be able to get a few more of these drones, gets a full scout as well, sees a double Evo, sees a Bane Nest, and oh, it does look like they do have a lot more supply than the 2 other players. Serral actually going into Burrow now.
Oh, yeah, could be looking to get into Tunneling Claw of Roaches. That's a great way to bypass these mutas. Sure, for the time being, mutas do have map control, but they can't do too much here against roaches that do tunnel underground. Meanwhile, Oliveira is doing what he does best. He's going into Biomine. Oh my god, the two Widow Mines are hidden there next to the hatchery. Oh.
Yeah, nice little defense there with these mutas. As long as they get full attention, should be able to deal with this. As you were mentioning before, could even give Firefly the control of those just to help spread the load a little bit, because, I mean, Firefly doesn't have too much to do right now.
Share the load, papi. 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure either Firefly or Silky has full control of those mutas. 100%. The other player has the Ling Bane. We do see Firefly is finally expanding. We do see a second Nexus on the way, but I'm sure that's still just to feed the Zerg.
That's just out of necessity. I think he's probably just mining out of his main.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And oh boy, I mean, so far, they do have a little bit of breathing room. The mutas have kept everything back at home, but both Serral and Oliveira have taken their third bases. Ooh, we even have Vipers on the way.
Yeah, there we go. The Viper's just going to do so much to help deal with these mutas. And I like that Serral and Oliveira are taking their time with this as well. It can be a little bit stressful in the 2v2, just not really knowing exactly what the possibilities are, especially with all the feeding of resources. But they are just going to be making sure that they have some answers for these mutas before they go out on the map again.
Exactly. They're very cool, calm, and collected right now. They're like, no, mate, just chill. Go wait for my Vipers, mate. You don't understand. Vipers will kill everything. And Oliveira's like, yeah, nah, I know. the Zerg tools, papi.
Too good.
Smooth. Copium. I mean, I feel like Firefly is on that Zerg Copium right now. For him to agree to just feed the Zerg player like this in 2v2, the Zergs, they're not that amazing in 2v2. As amazing as they are in 1v1.
Yeah, pretty interesting. It looks like these mutas are actually going to be able to get a fair bit of damage, but you can see with just how few lings here. Yeah, there's really just not that much here for Firefly. And I mean, they are 2-2 lings, but there's really not that. There's not enough of them to make a difference. Oh, and he flies over the mines that he already knew about. Just too much going on at once.
Oh my god, exactly. It slipped his mind a little bit. Basically, every muta is going to be going down at the same time. Ling Bane is going to be rolling forward here in the middle of the map. So far, the spreads are just too good.
Yeah, that Ling Bane has strayed very far off creep here, and it looks like the Vipers almost cleaning up the last of the mutas. Just 2 remain. They do get the hatchery, but how are we going to deal with this army that's headed across the map?
Oh, we're not. We're not gonna. We do have a lot of banelings, 36 banelings on the way, but I'm sure the players, they look at this and then time's like, all right, you got the banes, all right? You go first, I'll come in later. I'll clean up, Bobby. I'll be the cleanup crew. Banelings are rolling on forward, but you never want to see them against roaches. Oh.
Yeah, Serral doing his best splits there, but it looks like both players going to be dropping on out of there, and Serral and Oliveira getting a pretty comfortable 2-0.
Oh my god. GG, well played. Oh, very, very solid result here so far by Oliveira. They have been mixing things up, but to be fair, this game, they were forced to react here to what Team SSLT were doing with their cannon rush.
Yeah, absolutely. And even still, things were looking very strong for them. I think on this game 3, once again, Firefly and Silky maybe going to need to mix things up a little bit, but perhaps it's time to give Firefly a go.
let him play.
Let the Protoss play.
Oh my god. I like how we're both like. Again, we're pretty sure that they're sharing control, and Firefly, he's doing something, but there's a world out there, or maybe that's not the case, and maybe every time Firefly's like, all right, I'm gonna do my opener, and then I'm just gonna open up Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh man, yeah. I just think, yeah, maybe a little bit of a different strategy is required here, and if they can mix things up, maybe get a bit of that air toss going.
Yeah.
I feel like they might have a bit of a better chance.
Like, Sky Toss is pretty goddamn good in 2v2. It's pretty meta. There's a reason why Protoss compositions, or Protoss V and X kind of team compositions are so good in 2v2. There is a meta, as hard as it can be to believe. But here they're both on that Zerg Copium hype train. Like they believe in the power of the Zerg.
Yeah, absolutely, and it hasn't quite been paying off here. It'd be interesting to see as well if Serral and Oliveira with match point might want to go for something a little bit cheeky, bit of a game for the fans. I don't know what they've got prepared, but it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited. I mean, again, it does feel like so far, regardless of the score, both teams have been coming in pretty prepared. They come in with a plan. They know what they want to be doing. Like, on paper, it all makes sense. For SSLT, they're like, right, you're going to cannon rush Serral, and I'm going to Ling Flood, right? Let's go. And then you're just going to feed me, Papi.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it just also goes to show how powerful of players both Serral and Oliveira are.
Yeah, I feel like trying to mess up the macro of Serral and Oliveira is a pretty tough task, but here we go in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Do have Firefly, and in the bottom right, we have his Zerg teammate in the blue. I think I fell behind a little bit there. Silky.
At the top left-hand corner, we have Team Oliveira as well, the Terran and the Zerg. I don't know if you noticed, but once again, 2 games in a row, Firefly did open up Forge.
Yeah, there we go. So Firefly going for another cannon rush. Looks like he's really got this map figured out for this, and Serral is going to spot it a lot earlier. Looks like he just wants to commit a little bit to force a reaction, to force a lot of this to go up. But yeah, there we go. He's going to go for the cancel once he sees those pylons have been committed, and that's a lot of wasted resources there for Firefly. Oh, and he retakes it. Oh, that was great.
Jinx! Let's go! The probe is on the other side of the wall as well. He tries to go back in. There we go. Very quick moves there by Firefly. He does get past the drone wall, forces another cancel. Oh.
Yeah, it does. It force another cancel, and there we go. Serral's just going to retake that. He's probably yelling at Oliveira to bring that Marine back, but the cannon will be cancelled, and that was very nicely done.
Oh, but the probe is coming back. Oh no, but the Marine is there. In the end, this time a much more solid defense here by both Serral and by Time. Oh, and Firefly, he's gonna have to go back to Firefly's expanding.
Yeah, Firefly has to expand there. I think they realize that with Serral going for a very fast third, there's not really much they can do to stop that. He is just going to keep trying to pylon block that. The Marine is helping with the DPS just to get that down. But yeah, with pretty much only Silky in the game right now, it's going to be hard to get anything done here. We're seeing an extra cannon going down, but I think Time's going to have enough Marines now to help deal with this.
Yeah, by the way, when we got the second pylon block in the third base of Serral, Time couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
He's just having the time of his life. He's having the Oliveira of his life right now. The cannons go back up, but as you were saying, this time there are plenty of units on the field right now. Lings, Hellions, Marines, like this is getting shut down very hard.
Yeah, absolutely. This looks like a pretty comfortable hold now that all these units are out. And the other thing is, now that all these units are out, I think we might be able to see a little bit of aggression coming out from Serral and Oliveira. With that stim timing on the way, I just don't see how the other two are going to have enough to hold it. We are seeing some Lings starting to be produced here for Silky, but there's a lot of Lings on their way.
Yeah, once again, it looks like Firefly is feeding Silky, by the way. Once again, he's just giving him as many minerals and gas as possible. And it looks like Silky is trying desperately to fully wall off. We only have ground melee units available, like Lings and Hellions. So buildings will be able to buy a little bit of time here. But how is that wall looking? So far, the wall is not a wall.
Yeah, I mean, we have a Baneling bust with Hellions coming in behind it. This is everything that I think of when I think of 2v2.
Yeah.
Just the most broken things possible in terms of the combinations. And the hatchery is going to look to go down, but it's just not there in time. The Hellion's going to be blocking everything. A lot of splash going down on all these Lings. Good control with the Banes from Serral, and there is just nothing at home to defend.
Yeah, and again, like, this is also what we see a lot more in 2v2. We've had longer games, but here we have the hyper-aggression. Drones are falling left and right. There are no units on the map. GG gets called. And just like that, Serral and Oliveira, 3-0 SSLT.
Yeah, Firefly was laughing and Silky was not. That was pretty brutal between those two players. Looks like Oliveira well aware of how brutal it was, and we are getting that quick at 3-0. That last game especially looked quite convincing.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that was amazing. That was beautiful. It was again really interesting to see a 2v2 at this level of play, and again everyone came in very prepared for what they were doing. But Serral and Oliveira, I was very impressed with their synergy, with their camaraderie as well. I wasn't really thinking too much of them coming into this tournament, but they could be one of the favorites. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they looked pretty solid there, especially in the last couple games. Didn't really have to do too much in particular, just kind of synced up their timings, and I held quite comfortably. I think Serral having a much better time holding that cannon rush that time.
Oh my god, yes, much better that time, much better. And just like that, they take the clean sweep 3-0. Unfortunately, it is a single elimination tournament, so SSLT are eliminated from the event, and Serral and Oliveira are going to be moving on forward in the bracket. Meanwhile, we're getting ready here for our second matchup.
Yeah, here we go. We're going to have the CranKy Ducklings going up against Onside Gaming, so it is that classic Crank showdown once again, same as we got early on in the season, but this time in the 2v2.